pronouns. It sounds like a little thing, but it's not. It's the kind of thing that just is so just infiltrates the whole culture, and so that is over. If you remove your pronouns, I don't need to know. It just that's your business. If you want to be called something, the bottom line is this is not a government. What government needs to be involved in at all. Really, really exciting. Yeah, it seemed like there was something else along that line. He's just doing so much, it's hard to even keep up, isn't it? This is about Doge. Who wants to hear about Doge? The Doge team, get this, they discovered that payment approval officers at the Treasury were instructed to always approve payments. Always. Always. Didn't matter who it was to, what was the amount, any of that. They always were approving these payments, even to known fraudulent or terrorist groups. This is the kind of thing that we're up against. They're the man of lawlessness. The law does not apply to them; it applies to everyone else, and they can work with all these criminal groups and pay them off and do all this illegal stuff. And now we have the keys to the kingdom, and we're finding out all this information and setting it right. Number one, and number two, using it to prosecute. And they must be panicking because they can't unwind the clock. The deed is done. The check is cashed, and they know that they were responsible for this crime. They literally never denied a payment in their entire career. Isn't that crazy? So this is from Robbie Starbuck. He says the highest-ranking Treasury official, David Lebrick, is resigning rather than comply with the request by Doge for access to audit what they've spent, where they've spent trillions of dollars a year. He's not going to participate in an audit, and so he's resigning. So we'll have to see, who goes into that position next. I'm sure that they will cooperate because he didn't want to be held accountable. Well, just because you're resigning does not mean you'll not be held accountable. What do you think about that, you guys? Go, Elon! Go, Elon! And already as of 2 weeks, they've already saved literally $1 trillion. $1 trillion. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can pull this up. Let's see. What's the name of that site, you guys? Songbird, tell me. What's the name of the site that tracks our financial? Somebody tell me. Y'all know I can't remember the name of it all of a sudden. Anyway, tell me if you can think of it. All right, so that's really great. I wanted to see if it says on there what's the total dollars. All right, so then the other thing that Elon said is very few in the bureaucracy actually work on the weekend, so it's like the opposing team just leaves the field for 2 days. And they're locking people out of their systems that they have that they should not have access to. They're locking them out. And they're like when they're going to a web page that they don't need to go to and have the authority to see, it's saying that this web page is not accessible, that kind of thing. Oh, debt clock. Thanks. Is it U.S. debt clock? What's the name of it again? U.S. debt clock. U.S. That's it. Thank you, H. Clay. Thank you guys helping my brain. It's not easy to talk for an hour and a half and then to remember everything. That's why I'm so impressed by J.D. Vance, that he's really so on it. Come on, laptop. You can cooperate better than that. Okay, it's not wanting to. It's like going super slow. Come on, little guy. Okay, I'm going to let it think about it a minute. All right. Yeah, so this was the next thing is they're working on the weekend, and Elon says that's their superpower. Doge is speed running government reform, $4 billion a day in cuts. $4 billion. They could start this weekend. That's what they're working on. So what the wonderful thing about Elon is that he's so tech savvy. They cannot hide things on a back door or a side door or something. He knows how to work circles around them. And he is locking them out. They're not locking him out. And he is, finding all of their ways that they have stolen from us. It's amazing. And he has these wonderful people that are working with him. Mario Nawfal is one. So many others who are working with him who are just terrific. And he's sharing this. It's really exciting. Really exciting. All right, so Let me see for this. Oh, I think it finally came up. Here we go. Okay, now it just says 49 billion. I guess that is maybe that's including maybe some of the DEI cuts. Is maybe the 1 trillion. I know that they posted they'd saved 1 trillion, but on here it's only showing 49 billion, which is still a lot of money. I remember the day when $1 billion was a lot of money, right? All right, so this is really great. And so what I've been doing is I've been posting, and if you guys can help me out, whenever you go to my X account, become a follower on my X account, and help to like. I've posted a response here, realizing Doge doesn't take weekends off. I thought that was kind of a fun way to put it. And so I've gotten like 365. I'm trying to reach outside of our bubble, right? And that's one of the ways I'm doing it. If you can go over and like help to hit likes on some of these ones that I do on my replies, and so then that can help maybe to get more people to see our channel and maybe come jump on the bandwagon of seeing how this is biblical. That's not all. That's what I constantly am wanting to get done. All right, so here is this amazing list that was shared by the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. And look at this. I know it's really, really small. Okay, there you go. That's a little bigger. He goes into detail on each agency and how much they have saved. On the Department of Agriculture, 110 million. There you go. And so there was a $1 billion savings just from just through January 29th. $1 billion savings as they're going through from the DEI contracts that have been canceled. How about that? They're saving money in every which way that they possibly can. If you doubt Elon Musk, again, you've got another think coming. How cool is that? And I just love the respect. I love being shown that deference that, hey, you deserve, this is your money, you deserve to see how we're saving money and what we're doing. Really, really exciting. Yeah, love it. This is what we've been screaming for forever, even way before we knew our debt was outrageous, and we were screaming about this way before we woke up. But yeah, thank you, Elon. Keep going. Don't stop. Okay, so last night, the 1st of February, President Trump did a precision airstrike on the senior ISIS in Somalia. This morning, President Trump says, I ordered precision military airstrikes on the senior ISIS attack planner and other terrorists he recruited and led in Somalia. These killers who we found hiding in caves threatened the U.S. and our allies. The strikes destroyed the caves they live in. And killed many terrorists without in any way harming civilians. Yes, that's what we have to do. No civilians can be hurt in any of these strikes ever, ever, ever again. Our military has targeted this ISIS attack planner for years, but Biden and his cronies wouldn't act quickly enough to get the job done. But I did. The message to ISIS and all the others who would attack Americans is that we will find you and we will kill you. Love you, President Trump. We love you, President Trump. He is amazing. We're so thankful for you, President Trump. And it reminded me of the passage that says, where they're crying out, rocks and hills fall on us and hide us, right? Remember that passage? Doesn't it remind you of that? All right. This one was the one I was telling you about before. The 51 former Intel officials who engaged in brazen election interference and lied about the Hunter Biden laptop have now been banned from entering federal buildings. That's so great. We told you. Why didn't you believe him? Yes, you thought you were so funny. You thought you were too cool, and you'd played all this and lied to the American people, used the media as your mouthpiece of lies, and now the tables have turned. How exciting. Anybody ready for more winning? The winning is amazing. Thank you again, President Trump. These ones, they have, not only can they not enter the buildings, they can't enter the computers. And they've been able to get any kind of data on anyone at any time. Remember the Snowden movie and how they can use Facebook, they can use all this and go in the back door and get all this data on you or me or anyone, and no more. They could literally watch you on your in your home anytime, or in your car or wherever. This is how they have just spied on everyone, and our First Amendment rights, all of our rights have been completely taken away. And this is we're back. Our rights are back. and these people will be held to an account. And they're screaming. Yep, that's what's going to happen. In the book of Revelation, it talks about that things will go dark for them. And I think that's what it's talking about when they don't know what to do. They can't communicate. They can't work there covertly anymore. It's really exciting. Thank you, President Trump. All right, so this is about Gitmo, you guys. I'm ready for winning, and I don't think I'll get sick of it. Me either, flipping red. This is our wonderful Caroline Leavitt at the White House, and she was talking about Gitmo. And as she is talking, I want you guys to think about, is this just for the criminal, illegal aliens, or is it for those like the 51 intel officers? And I would say it's going to apply to all of them. We've been told on the board that Gitmo would be filled and other federal prisons would be filled with these criminals. And in as horrible as it has been and what we've gone through over the past 4 years, the one great thing is that we have basically, they've come here. And so we've been able to gather up all these criminals so that we can lock them up in Gitmo. That's really what is the biggest sting operation. The way that God had this planned, it's amazing. It's amazing. This was drawing them in. Come to America, and then the trap snaps shut. How awesome is that? Check it out.
Help lock up even more.
Wow, that was loud. Was that loud? All right, I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit.
For criminal illegal aliens, President Trump signed a memorandum this week to detain them at Guantanamo Bay. This action will expand the Migrant Operations Center at Naval Station Guantanamo Bay to full capacity to provide critical extra detention space for high-priority criminal illegals.
High-priority criminal illegals. High-priority criminal illegals. Maybe like these guys. High-priority criminal illegals like the 51 former intel officials. Maybe? What do you think?
Our brave ICE agents continue to arrest more and more of these types of individuals every day in communities across our country. And I have more updates for you. On January 27th, 2025, ICE Chicago arrested a citizen of Guatemala who has been convicted of solicitation to meet a child, disturbing, and sentenced to 24 months probation. On January 28th, 2025, ICE Atlanta arrested a citizen of South Korea who has been convicted of 9 counts of possession.
So these people are going to Gitmo. They're not being sent back to their countries. If the ones who are the worst of the worst will be sent to Gitmo, because we can't trust that they won't harm someone in Venezuela or Guatemala or wherever. They will be so they'll be held in Gitmo. Now, I shared something super cool about how Bukele is doing it. For those people who are not these hardened demonic criminals like this, there's an opportunity for these people in El Salvador to pay off their crime. They're actually getting to work. Let's say they owed a debt to society of $1,000 or $10,000 or whatever the number is. They actually can go in and learn a skill and work and actually do something beneficial for the society and pay off their debt to society, and then come out of prison having a skill in order to do something helpful for the world instead of doing something that has been obviously harmful. So that's pretty exciting. I love Bukele, and they're talking about that they might even take some of the other criminals there to these prisons in El Salvador. So we'll have to see. And actually, the U.S. government might end up paying El Salvador to pay to house criminals because they have done such a great job on doing that. So, all right. So did you guys see what happened on the USDA? I'm telling you, so much winning. The USDA was ordered to scrub the climate change. Not only can they not have their pronouns, they cannot have the climate change information. Climate change is over. With that, they've been saying climate change is so dangerous for the world and blah blah blah. And it's over. President Trump took office and climate change is over. At least it's off of the USDA websites, and they had to scrub that. Now, that's one of the things that this lady right here, the USDA inspector, did not like, and she refused to do what President Trump was saying, and so she was fired and she was escorted out of the office after she refused to leave. Now, I have a feeling, and some people do too, that her name is Fong, F-O-N-G. Phyllis Fong, a 22-year veteran of the department, had earlier told colleagues that she intended to stay after the White House terminated her Friday, saying she didn't believe the administration had followed proper protocols. Well, she found out otherwise. She had another think coming, the Trump effect. She is out. And we think that potentially she was an operative for the CCP. That's my thought. Okay, so she was physically removed. More winning. How about that? And that's a word of notice to anyone who wants to disrespect the rules and what they're supposed to do. They will be out on their ear. Now, this is another thing I want to show you about RFK. Did you guys see this? In the middle of the hearing, RFK gets some gum, but it's not just any gum. It turns out it's a nicotine gum. How about that? So we've been talking about that nicotine is actually good for you. Remember? And so, I'm not telling you to go smoke. I don't think it's good for your lungs, but it is. He's chewing it with the gum, and it can help your nerves. Again, I keep going back to how it's so important to do things that help your nerves, like the CBD. And here, don't forget, go to freedomforce.live/CBD, and you can find out more about how to help your nerves. But and also, just by the way, someone was saying they like my hair. Thank you for that. That was so nice. Actually, I've been putting on some CBD on my hair. So actually go and check it out. It's called Hair Mask over there, and I think you'll really, really like it. I've been sleeping in it, and I think it's really helped because I'm trying to grow my hair, but it was breaking. Anyway, for the guys who are on here, you're like, I don't care. Anyway, if you're a girl and you're trying to keep your hair from, keep it silky, it's made it so silky. Anyway, but back to here. Here's where RFK Jr. Was sneaking this nicotine. And the Anons catch everything. They catch everything. They even knew the brand. They saw the packet that he was opening. It was like AFD or AFL, whatever, nicotine. So check it out.
Respond. And it's actually the Gates Foundation and a flu cohort that figured out what was wrong and that we had an outbreak of COVID that was going beyond.
Okay. Anyway, so the point is he realizes that nicotine, obviously the man is not addicted to nicotine. He realizes this has health benefits. The man does not put anything in his mouth except that it's for the benefit of his health. He is health conscious to the max. So I thought that was really great. And Brian Artis has been talking about that. So I imagine Brian Artis has really liked seeing that video. I'm sure he's already seen it. All right. Don't forget also, have you guys seen this about the silver solution? I just love this stuff. It is nature's antibiotic. It destroys the bacteria, viruses, and fungi. And this, you can drink it. It's absolutely amazing. And there's a free report on it. With 40 pages or something like that of protocols on how you can use silver. I have it in my little doggy dish. I have it in our water. I have it all, just like a little coin, a little silver coin. But this is how you can drink it, because you can't drink a silver coin. But this book explains to you how you can use it for medicinally. 40 pages of how you can use silver. Our forefathers knew all about this. This is why silver has been such a great commodity for such a long time. It literally destroys fungi and mold. I found out about this because my sister had a mold attack and she could hardly breathe. And so I found out about this and said, let's jump right on this. I used the little spray for my breath. I drink it. I throw it into my smoothie. That's another thing I've added to my smoothie. Anyway, so check it out. It's on freedomforce.live/silver. And this is from my wonderful friend Keto Carey. I love having people like RFK, like Keto Carey, that we can absolutely trust. Anyway, check it out, freedomforce.live/silver. Anyway, all these things, we're going to make America great again. We're going to make America healthy again. And this is the one about how it's a natural antibiotic. This is the one how it can remove gallstones. This is just my thought. This happened to my dear friend. Before you take out the gallbladder, try Chonkapiedra and see if you can save your gallbladder. It's worth a try. And if you're having like tummy problems, you're like from a gallstone attack, try the Chonkapiedra. We're going to have all these natural remedies. He's going to be talking about all this. We're starting now, but he's going to be talking about it. This is the methylene blue, and this is amazing to take if you feel like you've got memory problems, memory lapses, starting dementia, difficulty controlling your emotions, that type of thing. Try the methylene blue. Joe Rogan was just talking about it on one of his channels the other day, and also a leaky gut. This is hugely important because you do not want these poisons from your gut entering into your bloodstream. So black seed oil, we've talked about that a lot. You can drink this and it helps to repair your gut. Absolutely amazing. Check it out, ketocarry.com/FFB. Check it out. I think the silver is actually on sale right now. Actually, you know what? Our time is running out, but I shared this on social media that the USAID is a money laundering scheme, and here is where Mike Benz is explaining about that, and President Trump is shutting this down because that's another way that they have just been using this money and to hide it in all of these NGOs. So check that out. Before I came on this morning, just got the new news that the NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte just agreed with President Trump that Greenland and so he's calling on Denmark to immediately begin negotiations. So what do you think about that? It looks like Greenlanders are going to be Americans soon. I'm telling you, President Trump, the Trump effect is in full force. For the NATO guy to even agree, because they really seem like they fight President Trump on everything. And soon, I'm sure we're going to hear more about the end of the Russian-Ukraine conflict. President Trump's been talking to Putin, and that's going to happen. I hope this week. I hope this week is when we're going to hear about that. But that's a big one. That obviously a huge one because the criminal cabal of the military-industrial complex is not going to be happy about that at all. And they're going to want to gin up another war. And we're like, no, we're not starting any more wars. We're making wars to cease to the ends of the earth. Yes, when it comes to defense in the Arctic, Trump is right. What I think is very good is that the Prime Minister of Denmark immediately began negotiations with President Trump. It was about the high relevance of defense in the far north. So there you go. So Greenland is going to be America soon. How about that? It just doesn't stop. President Trump is unbelievable. Okay, this is actually about NATO. This was if you haven't seen this video, I encourage you to watch it. It was quite an interesting conversation between Piers Morgan and Tucker Carlson. And sometimes Tucker Carlson doesn't make me think that he understands what's really going on in Israel. It's as if he's just like, he hasn't even touched that. It's like he feels like it's the third rail, which I'm sure it is. And I talk about it, but I'm just the lady with the laptop, but he's got to be maybe more careful. Either way, so they were talking about some of this, and I really think it'd be good to watch. Go to watch TuckerCarlson.com and just look up the interview with Piers Morgan, Piers. I actually had shared it on our social media yesterday sometime. All right, but this was a very interesting clip. I guess I'll play this one little clip and just give you a little idea of what they were talking about. And it was just quite an interesting conversation to hear where Pierce was coming from. Check it out.
How is it defensive?
Because it has never acted proactively, aggressively.
Really? Where were you when the Yugoslavia war was going on? And they were bombing the shit out of Christians in Yugoslavia. Do you remember that?
Yes.
That was pretty offensive.
NATO has always operated in a defensive capacity.
Really?
Yes.
That's how they created Kosovo? Defensively?
It was defensive.
Oh, it was?
Yes, it
Who was the aggressor there?
Oh, my brother-in-law was literally there.
Just a minute. What you're saying is insane.
It's not insane. NATO has never actually acted unilaterally.
Okay, so the Soviet collapses.
It's never attacked anybody without being attacked. It's always been defensive.
Who in Yugoslavia attacked NATO?
Look.
Here's the point where you just admit defeat. Bow your head and be like, you know what? I bow before superior knowledge. I totally got this wrong. I can't believe I had such a silly idea. I'm sorry.
So this was really interesting. So NATO was created supposedly to bring in world peace, and they've done anything but. Ever since NATO was created, we've had war after war after war after war. And so what he was saying is defensive. It was just an odd way to look at it, because it was the what Tucker was saying was that the NATO country was the aggressor in this situation. And what happened was, we know with the situation with Putin and Ukraine, was that the agreement had been for many, many years that they could not have a NATO country right on the doorstep of Russia. And they completely broke that rule, said we're going to bring Ukraine, we're going to support Ukraine, all this. This is exactly why. And they're putting the weapons right on, the NATO weapons right on the border of Russia. And this is why Putin went into Ukraine. We know that. Most people don't know that because they listen to the mainstream media and they just get the littlest of nothing. But this is what we're talking about. NATO has not been keeping the promises, keeping the treaties. They've been breaking all these rules and causing wars instead of stopping them. And this is why the military-industrial complex loves NATO and why they hate President Trump. Again, we just have to continue to pray. And I just know that President Trump knows the best way to thread this needle, and to get to peace, to world peace. And it really, you have to end the military-industrial complex where they control these congressmen. I mean, it's very complex. And I think of, as I've told you before, think of pixie sticks, and one pixie stick has to be picked up after the other, and really some of these things like NATO are like at the bottom, and Israel are at the bottom of the pixie stick pile. And so it has to be done methodically, step by step, very strategically. I will say that the Bisan that I follow, who is in Palestine, is so happy she's back at her home. And so thank you, President Trump, again for ending this conflict between Israel and Gaza, the Palestinians. Now, is the problem completely solved? No. Saving Israel for last. That's the pixie stick at the very, very bottom. But at least now the people feel safe that they can go back to their home. Their home is absolute rubble. It's just horrible what they've endured. But better days are coming. And they know that. And they know that with President Trump, that things are going to get better and better and better. Thank you so much, Lord. And those who've done these things on purpose, this is for them. Habakkuk chapter 3 is exactly for them. If you haven't read Habakkuk, I would really encourage you to do so. And I talk about this in the book, End Times, Major Clues from Minor Prophets. This is the one right here. Major Clues from Minor Prophets. I love this book because the minor prophets that we hardly ever read were talking about the end times for this criminal cabal. And here's what Habakkuk did. Habakkuk, in the first chapter, I'm not going to read it, but just tell you what happened in the first chapter of Habakkuk. He was telling the Lord, look at all these things. These people are corrupt. They're so evil. How can you let this go on? We need your help. Come and save us. And then in chapter 2, that's when it says, write these things on a tablet so the runner can take the message to the people. And if it seems slow in coming, wait for it will surely come and it will not be delayed. And he says, yes, look at the corrupt. They're wicked. The Lord says, I do. I see. You think I don't see? The Lord, of course, sees all these things. And so he's saying, okay, Lord, if you see this, then why not do something about it? And again, with the pixie sticks. Habakkuk didn't know about pixie sticks, but the point is it has to be done in the exact right way, or it will fail. And the Lord the reason that we were told to go into all the world and preach the gospel was that there would be people all over the world like you who would rise up and take the kingdom by force. This is what we're doing. People all over the world, as we said in the video we did yesterday, the one that we're doing on the study of the end times in 1,000 years of peace. If you haven't seen that, go back and look at the video from yesterday. We talked about how there's 200 million people who are in this fight. That's the number that is given in chapter 9 of the book of Revelation. Anyway, there had to be that so that the world would be set free from these people. We couldn't just have one little country, because then they would just be overtaken. It had to be the entire world has to be set free. We cannot leave one scintilla of this criminal cabal left on earth. All right, so this in chapter 3, that's when Habakkuk sees the Lord unleash. And he says it scared him to pieces. It scared him, shaking in his boots, because he was not prepared for this. And this is what you and I need, as best as we can, to be prepared for what we're going to see with so many of these people being arrested. Now, are you ready? And I know we say we're ready, but it's you don't know until you are in the middle of it, okay? And we're in the middle of fighting this battle, and they've got still, the reason he hasn't done it so far is because they still have some ability to do evil, like what we just saw with his airplane, okay? But here is the passage in Habakkuk 3 where Habakkuk starts to see this happen, okay? The sun and moon stood still in the sky as your brilliant arrows flew and your glittering spear flashed. You marched across the land in your anger and trampled the nations in your fury. Again, nations as in the criminal cabal. The word is Nazis, okay? It's the rulers, the demonic criminal cabal. You went out to rescue your chosen people, to save your anointed ones. You crushed the heads of the wicked and stripped their bones from head to toe. With his own weapons, you destroyed the chief of those who rushed out like a whirlwind, thinking God's people, would be easy prey. You trampled the sea with your horses, and the waters piled high. I trembled inside when I heard this, and my lips quivered with fear. My legs gave way beneath me, and I shook in terror. I will wait. Okay, so you see how he's responding, because this is daunting. What we're going to see soon is, and we're seeing the rumblings of it, but what we're going to see in full force soon is these people arrested. And I want to take a lesson from Habakkuk, that this is going to be shocking, even for us. So that's why we have to really be prepared and help others who are also going to be shaking in their boots. But look at verse 16. This is the word for each one of us to trust the Lord on his timing. Ms. Jacobs just said this yesterday. Trust the Lord's timing. I just remind myself always to trust his timing. I will wait quietly for the coming day when disaster will strike the people who invade us. I love that verse. That's the key verse in this passage. I will wait quietly for the coming day when disaster will strike the people who have invaded us. Even though the fig trees have no blossoms, there's no grapes on the vines, even though the olive crop fails and the fields lie empty and barren, even though the flocks die in the fields and the cattle barns are empty, I will rejoice in the Lord. Even still, yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I'll be joyful in the God of my salvation. The sovereign Lord is my strength. He makes me as sure-footed as a deer, able to tread upon the heights. This is why we've been able to be at peace throughout all of this, is because we trust the Lord and trust his timing, and we know this is biblical. This is the day we're going to see the end of our enemies. Praise the Lord. Who loves that? That's Habakkuk chapter 3. That's really the whole book of Habakkuk. And Habakkuk realized he didn't know the best way to do this, but the Lord does. Okay, I love that. I hope you really enjoy that too. Here's where you can get the book on Amazon. I'll pop the link into the comments, and Songbird will put it in the comment section of the video. Here it is, right there. That's where you can get all the books, the major clues. You can actually get it for $2.99 as an ebook, or you can get the paperback if you prefer, and share it with people. You can send these to people. And also the book, This is Biblical. Don't forget, when you're over there, please put on there a review. Would you guys do that? I would really appreciate that if you could do that. That will keep it in the top of the algorithm when people search for End Times books. And this is the study guide that we're doing. I will see you next Saturday on that. Now, before we go, I want to tell you that tomorrow I'm going to do a show with my really great friends Stacy and David Whited. They're doing a special on marriage called Prosperous Marriage. How to have your marriage prosper. And that's something that I have not spent 2 minutes on And so I'm really appreciative that they are doing it. They have done all these, and they really haven't done any for their Patriots either on their channel, but they realize that this has been tough on a lot of marriages. Maybe, we've always been on the same page, but maybe at this point during all this, we haven't quite been on the same page. And what good is it if we go through all of this and we have difficulties in our relationships, right? So this is really great. You can check out this page right here. Isn't that beautiful? What a sweet picture. I love that. It's called prosperousmarriage.com, and you can be a part of it. It's this Wednesday. Only they're doing it one day, and it's a great lesson that they've done for others, and they're going to open this up to their audience. And so I said I want to be a part of it because I thought this was terrific. They're going to be on my show on Monday.